In today's video, we will talk about IIA-CIA Part 2 exam prep and share free practice exam to test knowledge. Introduction to IIA-CIA Part 2. IIA-CIA Part 2 exam details. Why earn the CIA certification? Key exam objectives. How to prepare for IIA-CIA Part 2. 1. An internal auditor tested whether purchase orders were supported by appropriately approved purchase requisitions. She sampled a population of purchase documents and identified instances where purchase requisitions were missing. However, she did not notice that in some cases purchase requisitions were approved by an unauthorized person. Which of the following risks most appropriately describes this situation? A. Non-sampling risk. B. Sampling risk. C. Inherent risk. D. Due diligence risk. Answer: A. 2. An internal auditor submitted a report containing recommendations for management to enhance internal controls related to investments. To follow up, which of the following is the most appropriate action for the internal auditor to take? A. Observe corrective measures. B. Seek a management assurance declaration. C. Follow up during the next scheduled audit. D. Conduct appropriate testing to verify management responses. Answer: D. 3. Which of the following would most likely cause an internal auditor to consider adding fraud work steps to the audit program? A. Improper segregation of duties. B. Incentives and bonus programs. C. An employee's reported concerns. D. Lack of an ethics policy. Answer: C. 4. Which of the following is an appropriate responsibility for the internal audit activity with regard to the organization's risk management program? A. Identifying and managing risks in line with the entity's risk appetite. B. Ensuring that a proper and effective risk management process exists. C. Attaining an adequate understanding of the entity's key mitigation strategies. D. Identifying and ensuring that appropriate controls exist to mitigate risks. Answer: C. 5. Which of the following describes the primary objective of an internal audit engagement supervisor? A. Uphold the quality of the internal audit actively. B. Provide engagement progress updates to management of the area under review. C. Assure risks and controls are identified and assessed. D. Ensure timely completion of the engagement. Answer: C. 6. An internal auditor is planning to audit the organization's payroll function, which was recently outsourced. Which of the following is the most appropriate first step for the auditor? A. Review management's nationwide risk assessment. B. Understand the objectives and strategies of the new arrangement. C. Revise the scope of the audit engagement. D. Form objectives for the audit engagement. Answer: B. 7. Which of the following internal audit procedures commonly involves sampling? A. Confirmation and financial statement analysis. B. Reperformance and inspection. C. Vouching and tracing. D. Trend analysis and benchmarking. Answer: C. 8. An internal audit intends to create a risk and control matrix to better understand the organization's complex manufacturing process. With which of the following approaches would the auditor most likely start? A. Assess management responses to key risk exposures. B. Analyze the costs and benefits of key controls. C. Evaluate the design adequacy of known controls. D. Conduct the walkthrough of all related activates. Answer: D. 9. An internal audit manager is planning a contract compliance audit. Which of the following should be done prior to developing the audit work program? A. Select a sample of invoices for substantive testing. B. Review the contract for evidence of authorization. C. Document underlying reasons for non-compliance. D. Assess the inherent risk of paying duplicate invoices. Answer: C. 10. Acceding to IIA guidance. Which of the following statements is true regarding the risk assessment process performed by the internal audit activity? A. The assessment of high-level risks is typically a linear process. B. Management should create the preliminary risk matrix. C. The analysis should begin with identification of objectives. D. Likelihood should receive greater consideration than impact. Answer: C. 11. An internal auditor is assessing the design of a control and has identified a potential significant weakness. The auditor shared his concern with management, however management does not agree that the weakness is significant. What should the Internet auditor do next? A. Perform additional audit work to better articulate the risk. B. Report the finding that management has accepted a level of risk that is unacceptable. C. Proceed to testing how effectively the control is opening. D. Because the design weakness has been identified, no additional audit work is needed. Answer: A. 12. An internal auditor is conducting a review of the procurement function and uncovers a potential conflict of interest between the Chief Operating Officer and a significant supplier of IT software development services. Which of the following actions is most appropriate for the internal auditor to take? A. Inform the audit supervisor. B. Investigate the potential conflict of interest. C. Inform the external auditors of the potential conflict of interest. D. Disregard the potential conflict, because it is outside the scope of the audit assignment. Answer: A. 13. An internal audit manager assigns an audit team to test purchase transactions by selecting a sample from transactions processed by each of the 3 procurement officers. Which of the following techniques will help the audit team achieve this sampling objective? A. Systematic sampling. B. Stratified sampling. C. Stop or go sampling. D. Discovery sampling. Answer: B. 14. An internal auditor plans to conduct a walk-through to evaluate the control design of a process. Which of the following techniques is the auditor most likely to use? A. Observation and inspection. B. Inquiry and observation. C. Inspection and reperformance. D. Inquiry and reperformance. Answer: B. 15. What information would be most useful to an internal auditor who is attempting to identify specific processes to include in the scope of an assurance engagement? A. Recent organization-wide recognition awards given to employees within the area. B. The timing of the most recent audit of the area. C. Management's presentation to the board regarding recent area achievements. D. Recent area performance indicators against productivity metrics. Answer: D. Subscribe and like Seek Exams to practice more exams.